What is going on, everybody? Is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today we are doing a very special 2-round of mock draft because Tyreek Hill was just traded to the Miami Dolphins for a first-round pick, a second this year, which is mainly the focus of this video, along with a selection of other picks. So if you guys are new, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, join the community. The goal is 4.5K by draft day. So I know that you guys have so far been killing it, and you guys are going to continue doing that for me, and I really appreciate it because you guys are awesome. Of course, if you guys have any comments, have some good football discourse down in the comment section below because it's awesome. And if you guys want to join the community even more, there's other links to Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We're already on YouTube, Instagram, Discord, and Twitter. Where the Discord, we have over 130 people. Absolutely awesome. Huge fan of that. So thank you guys for making this an amazing community. It's only going to get better. So let's kick this off with the number 1 pick. Let's keep it easy breezy. Let's go Aidan Hutchinson out of Michigan here. You know, when you look at Aidan Hutchinson, he totally revamped his body this year. He came back from a pretty gruesome injury, and he's just absolutely baller. I love him to death. He definitely graded out as my number 1 edge prospect, which I'm going to be having offensive line grades tomorrow. And then we're going to also have edge rankings coming very soon. So if you guys also like that or want to see my receiver rankings, which are already up, stay tuned because it is absolutely awesome. I put a lot of work into those, and I know that they don't get as many views, but I like to make that stuff for you guys so you guys can enjoy it. Number 2 with the Lions. Do I dare bow down to the masses here? I love to go KT here. I do know that Dan Campbell might have an issue with the lack of effort put in every single play, the entrepreneurial mindset, so to speak, as well of KT. I'm going to bend down to the masses. I haven't ever done this before, but it is true. Kyle Hamilton, you don't always drop a player because of the 40. It was a pretty freaky 40. I'm not a huge fan of it myself, but we're going to try to do something a little bit more predictive here. Kyle Hamilton, again, if you take that 40 away, his only issue is that he started lining up 20 to 25 yards deep, kind of like Jabril Peppers in a way. I mean, at this point, I really do think that Kyle Hamilton is one of the best players. He is one of the best players in the class. I just don't think that the value of a safety is worth it at 2. That being said, if people are saying this is the best guy since Ed Reed, can I argue with that? Really, can I? I don't think I can. And again, Sauce Gardner, someone actually brought this up in my comment section. They're saying, why not Sauce Gardner? There's not a legitimate reason why you can say you wouldn't go Sauce, except for maybe, well, he didn't play against high level competition the whole time. He graded out as over a 90, which nobody else has even gotten pretty close to, against Notre Dame, Alabama primarily. So again, I don't have a good enough excuse to say no Sauce at number 2. I really don't. But we'll go with Kyle Hamilton. We'll bend down to the masses. We'll do that. I'm not a huge fan of it personally. I really am not. But again, someone who's a sneaky pick here is Malik Willis. I thought that he could be a sneaky guy right there. Had an amazing pro day, was awe-inspiring to most people. Pro days don't mean really jack shit. Combines really make or break a player, and Malik hasn't really tested out. So does that really drop his stock? I don't think so. I'm just going to be honest. I don't really think there's another first-round quarterback in this draft except Malik. Malik has a crazy ceiling, but that's what makes him maybe a potential number 2 pick. Number 3 with the Texans. You guys are sitting here and you have the pick of the litter. I actually looked at Tytus Howard, and obviously he's coming for a contract in 2 years if you give him a 5th-year extension. So technically 1. And when you watch his play at guard, it is pretty booty cheeks. To put it very politely, it is straight cheeks. He actually played best at left tackle this year, and he actually did a really good job. So I know that they're thinking of restructuring on Laramie Tunsil, but if I'm honestly the Texans, I am heavily considering going Ikem Ekwonu and potentially moving Laramie Tunsil. Again, I'm pretty sure Marcus Cannon got released as well. So that right tackle spot is open. So people who do try to say, hey, right tackle's already filled by Tytus Howard, tackle might be filled by Tytus Howard. He has not played a single game at right tackle. So please don't give me that in the comment section below. I did my research. He's never played right tackle. He has played, I believe, right guard and left guard, but never right tackle. I think Ikem Ekwonu could be the guy that you bring in if you want to keep Tytus Howard at tackle and move him to right, see what the hell happens. That would be a pretty smart move. I also don't really think that they're going to do that based on their history. Like, yeah, I mean, you saw Tyus Howard just totally ball out at the end of the season at left tackle. I just don't think that they're going to be willing to move him to right. And he's never played on the right for the team, especially a tackle. So I think Evan Neal, actually, the more I think about it, should be this pick. I usually put Ekem here, but I obviously have like I think it's a 12-point difference in my grading scale, Evan Neal to Ekem. That's just because Ekem has a lot of flaws, but he's an insane talent. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to put Evan Neal here. I think that right tackle spot is open for a reason. I think they put Tyus Howard back to guard. And even if they do move Laramie Tunsil, you can still put Tyus Howard at left tackle where he performed well. That right tackle spot is where I need to target, and Evan Neal still played at an all-pro level at right tackle. I'm going to be going with that. Number 4 with the Jets, who just missed out on the Tyreek Hill trade, and Tyreek Hill decided not to choose the Jets. Obviously, they actually didn't put in any of these first-round picks into there, which would have been intriguing if they could use both of them on higher-level prospects. Regardless, at number 4, I'm having a hard time not going after KT here. I'm really like, when you look at it, it's KT and Sauce are the dudes who I would be arguing, and Ekem as well. I do think you should get Ekem and or like even Charles Cross and put him at tackle. That could be a good pick for pick 10. Just say, hey, screw it, we're going to go Charles Cross. That being said, I think Ekem should probably take a year at guard before actually starting at tackle. And it's hard to say you're going to blow the number 4 pick on someone who's not going to be. When you're in New York and you spend the number 4 pick, the guy needs to play. I don't like that idea. And there are rumors of Mekhi Becton being moved. He came back from injury. He was really out of shape. And, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He's going to cost a shit ton of money as well, because when he is healthy, he's an absolute stud. That is certainly an option. I'm not going to go that way. When you look at the guys who pick next, you got the New York Giants, who should definitely look at offensive and defensive line. And then you also could see them going after a safety, but Kyle Hamilton's not there. You could see them going after a corner as well, like Sauce. That's far from out of the realm of possibility. But at the same time, I think there's a greater chance of Sauce dropping than KT when you have a team like the Giants right here. And again, you could say worst case scenario, you go Travon Walker, but I could see the Seahawks wanting to scoop him up too. I really like Sauce, and I want to take him here, but we're going to go Kayvon Thibodeaux out of Oregon. We're bringing him back into the top 5. I think his actual range is top 9. And that kind of sucks because his talent is number 1, but guy's phenomenal, and the team like the Jets, you're getting back Lawson. Now you're getting Kayvon Thibodeaux as well. You're building a really, really good pass rush basis for your squad. Number 5 for the New York Giants. This is Ikem Ekwonu, and I don't think there is much of a doubt about it. I mean, you could go somewhere else, but I just don't really think that there's much of a need to. Ikem Ekwonu is an absolute beast. You could see Charles Cross go before, because again, Ikem just figured it out this year, and now you're going to be moving him to right tackle, or you could be moving Andrew Thomas to right tackle, whichever one you please. But Ikem is too much of a stud to let pass at this point. The guy has unlimited potential, number 1 overall pick quality potential. I love it. Number 6, we got the Panthers on the board, and it has to be a quarterback. And I swear to God, I will cry. I will cry for you. You said, screw you to Baker Mayfield, by the way. Like, came out and just said, we do not like him. And then you'll get Kenny Pickett. I'm coming for you. These guys, if they do that, I swear to God, fire them before the season starts. Fire the entire office. Fire the freaking owner. I don't care. I know you can't fire an owner, but get this shit out of here. I swear to God, if you go Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis, you're showing that you don't give a damn about your franchise. You want someone who's safe? Go Baker Mayfield. You want someone who has a sky-high potential? Go Malik Willis. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to do this for you. I don't give a damn. I swear. Like, if you get Jimmy G, that's a different story. But then you could go after an offensive lineman like Charles Cross. Regardless, just don't. Just go Malik Willis. I swear. Kenny Pickett in the top 10 is absolutely ludicrous. Number 7 with the Giants on the board. So you still have Sauce Gardner here. And my question is, if you move back, can you potentially lose out on Travon Walker? The answer is you could, but I don't think Atlanta's in that mindset. I really don't. And surprisingly, I do think Atlanta could be a trade back potential target for a team. And that makes me a little bit uneasy. I don't think that the Giants really care about other teams, though. I was thinking about trying to trade up with the Jets, trying to get Sauce Gardner. Not going to happen this time. We're going to be going Travon Walker here out of Georgia. Remember, Wink Martindale came from the Ravens, and now he's the DC of the New York Giants. He just trained Odafe Owe and made him into an absolute stud. When everyone was like, dude, this guy didn't even have a sack last year. Travon Walker is a ridiculously raw prospect, but when you look at those upside traits, he graded out as like a 75.5, and that was before the combine, where he obviously showed that he had even more athleticism than we expected. And obviously he's a freaky alien. He's now my edge 4, and that's like criminal to say. Apparently it's criminal. I still think the dude's a stud, and I think this is a perfect spot for him to be able to flourish. If like every single team's going to have a different draft board, right? So when you look at a team like the Jets, or like let's just look at the who do I want to target here? The Lions. They might have Aidan Hutchinson 1, but then maybe Travon Walker 2, and then Karlaftis 3, and then KT, because maybe the attitude concerns are a big issue. Versus New York, where they're going to be like, you know what, KT or Travon, they're both going to be able to reach their ceiling. KT's a stud. I think this is just perfect location. Overall, I do think that George Karlaftis is still being heavily slept on. But regardless, thank you for turning off my do not disturb. I really appreciate that, Mac. Regardless, we're going to number 8 with the Falcons here, and there are still some studs on the board. And if I'm the Jets, I really do need to trade up. I do. Wide receiver is such a big issue for them. Obviously, they just telegraphed that. But when you look at the corner talent in round 2, it is just no bueno. It's crap, dude. And you're going from it's a short range trade. And I think the Falcons could trade back twice. But the Falcons need to garner picks. And we're going to be offering a 3rd round pick. That is ridiculous. That is some bullshit. I swear to God, like when you look at the actual points of the picks, I think that it's more than fine. But we will go and we will offer, there you go, that they don't get more than that. I'm pretty sure that the point value is pretty damn acceptable at that point. This could be Charles Cross again, but we're going to go Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati. I think the value is just too damn good. Again, you have both of your 2nd round picks. I think you have 2 2nd round picks. You at least have one of your 2nd round picks that you can use. You do have 2. I just remembered because that's why I go tight end usually. But Sauce Gardner, KT, that's your best duo that you can offer on the defense. And again, I think that he is the best player in the class. I try to make an argument for him at 4, but I don't need to really make one for him at 8. Number 9, you got Seattle here. And since you kind of lost out on the Sauce Gardner train, you're going to be going Charles Cross here out of Mississippi State. I think that's 100% fair. And now that the Falcons got an extra 3rd, got an extra 4th next year, I think that it would be a good time to potentially target a wide receiver. That one being Garrett Wilson out of The Ohio State University. I do think he's the best wide receiver on the board. Very versatile, can play him anywhere. This wide receiver room is absolute cheeks, and they need to be able to fix that. So that's exactly what's going to happen. Number 11, you got the Washington football team. Just kidding. Wow. Washington Commanders. By the way, why hasn't TDN updated this? All of us look up to TDN as the premier draft network, and they just can't even update a logo. Washington Commanders, you guys are going to be targeting a great wide receiver here who is the perfect addition to your squad, Drake London out of USC. Again, you're getting Carson Wentz, a large receiver who he can just chuck the ball up to, excellent hands. People who say you can't separate, do not watch him play. I'm sorry. I know that's a lot of my fans down in the comment section. I think that he's absolutely a stud. And, when you look at him after the catch as well, he just moves super different for his size, man. He's just a different breed. I think that people are heavily underrating him, the general community. But when you see guys like Mike Renner, myself, I'm obviously not putting myself into that category, but just people who do this for a living end up putting Drake London as arguably a top 5 pick. There's you guys got to start connecting the dots, man. Drake London's an absolute freak stud, and I love him. Number 12, you got the Vikings on the board. And Jordan Davis, I really want to put Jordan Davis back to this team because it's just absolutely dominant. I know Harrison Phillips got brought onto the squad, but to be honest, it doesn't really change anything for me. Derek Stingley is here. I know that I've heard the NFL is really low on the Liz Frank injury stuff. like really low. So I could see a trade back here where they want to get Derek Stingley later. I've actually heard rumors about them going center here. If you guys watch PFF, they had like Sam Monson talked about this in their 2022 mock draft. They were saying like, dude, Linderbaum could be the guy here. I don't think so. And I'm not going to do that just because it makes sense to not do that. And the Vikings need someone who can come in right now. I do think Trent McDuffie or Kyer Elam might be a little bit more attractive to them. And you still have guys like Jordan Davis on the board, Devontae Wyatt, who should be taken in this range. It's a real tough one because for me personally, I would be going Derek Stingley here, or else I'd be going Jordan Davis. And again, for those people who talk about Harrison Phillips, I'm forgetting his name now. I think it's Harrison Phillips being brought on for like a 3-year deal. I think it just doesn't change the fact that this guy the coach is coming from the Rams, where they had Aaron Donald. Jordan Davis could be that. Like, there is that argument where there's not many people built like this on the entire planet. This is the NFC, and when you look at it, you got the Bears in your division, who are going to be probably more run heavy. They don't have much of a receiving core. And I mean, you look at the Lions. I mean, honestly, the Lions aren't actually too bad, but they have a really good offensive line. You need to be able to counter that, or else you're going to get ran all the time with DeAndre Swift. And then obviously you look at the Packers, they're in disarray. So screw them. You're in a division where I think the best return on your investment would be Jordan Davis. I do think corner should be a target, and I might just go Trent here because I know the NFL is really high on him. I'm not going to, though. I'm going to be going Jordan Davis here out of Georgia. I know that'll piss off a lot of people, and I'm sorry about that. But again, I'm not in this business of people please. I think Jordan Davis is an absolute freak of nature, and I do have him in my top 12. You just can't make many people like that. Even if he busts out, you can never call this a busted pick because you took a chance on someone who could be extremely different. His size, his athleticism, and his impact are ridiculous. I have a weird feeling Georgia misused all of their defensive players just because you see them on their own, and it's like there's so much untapped potential with every single one of them. Jordan Davis might have his best success in his career in Minnesota, and you guys might complain now, but would be celebrating it later and shitting on everybody else. Number 13, we got the Texans back on the board. I still think edge would be a not too shabby of an option here. You could look at another wide receiver that's on the board. I don't think that wide receiver is out of the question. Offensive line's already out of the question. Derek Stingley is an option. I do think that's fair to say. And I personally would be definitely looking at that over Jermaine Johnson because I'd rather get Arnold Ebiketie in round 2. And you know what? Lovie Smith is going to get his lockdown corner of the future. Derek Stingley Jr. is going right here to the Texans. Honestly, if you guys really want to, you could flip Jordan Davis and Derek Stingley. You can. But honestly, the way it rolled out, I like Derek Stingley to this squad. Number 14, you got the Ravens. So Ravens edge is still a big issue for this team. I think that going Jermaine Johnson is going to be the best move you can do. George Karlaftis, again, I have him higher than Jermaine Johnson. I just think the NFL's lower on him. And if they're not, I'm going to be so happy about that. I really am. I love George. Like, he's just a freak of nature, man. I love George Karlaftis with a passion. But Jermaine Johnson will be arguably more impactful day one. George Karlaftis dropped 10 pounds. If he can keep that power, he's going to be better than arguably Kayvon Thibodeaux. That being said, Jermaine Johnson is far from shabby. Number 15, sorry, Eagles fans. I kind of took the 3 dudes. That would be like a dream trio for you guys. Apologies. But with that being said, you can look at the rest of the board. I do think that one of these picks could become a trade weapon. I do, because when I'm looking at the guys on the board, I got some linebackers, but again, linebackers really deep in this class. You do not need to reach on a linebacker. That 19th spot could be open for business, and wide receivers still should be on your target list. You know, Treylon Burks is there. If you want to trade back and get Treylon Burks, you could do that too. Jameson Williams, obviously, you guys have heard me a billion times in all my mock-the-mocks. I think it's a crappy move, and that's not to shit on Jameson Williams. It's just basically saying you already have what Jameson Williams could be in Quez Watkins. I'm a Quez guy. But still, number 15, this is a really tough spot. I think George Karlaftis could make his resurgence here, but I do think that corner like Kyer Elam should be in this mix as well. So we're actually going to go, oh man, because I do think there's a big drop off. Like Trent McDuffie is certainly in there, but you got Kyer Elam. I don't think Andrew Booth's going to be a first round corner. I think he's going to be a second rounder or maybe a late first. You got Trent McDuffie in here and you got Kyer Elam. Tariq Woolen's the only guy who can peek his name into the first round as well from the group. And then the second round, like it really, really drops off, guys. Really drops off. So I'm actually going to go Kyer Elam here out of Florida. 4.39 40. Guy is built like a prototypical high-end cornerback, and he fits in zone just as well as man. I love his versatility. Kyer Elam will be shooting backup draft boards. I can promise you that. Like he had a little bit of a tough year, but when you watch him play, even against the top talent like Jameson Williams, he shows that he belongs. So big fan of him. Number 16 for the Eagles. We are actually going to be going an edge rusher here. I mean, David Ojabo would have been so nice. But again, with his Achilles tear, does that knock him down? Yes. For people who say it shouldn't knock him down at all, like, come on. Like, it's an actual Achilles tear. Not like we talk about Cam Akers as a phenomenon. And excuse me. And that's just, it's an exception, not the rule. You can't just come back in the middle of the season and be absolutely fine. He could. And I pray to God that he does, but you're like praying that a miracle happens again. Again, I would love that. But at the same time, I think that NFL teams realize that there will be a legitimate impact to losing David Ojabo. George Karlaftis could be an amazing, amazing edge setter for this team. I know that some of y'all hate it, and I know that one of my Eagles fans in the comment section is not going to like this pick. I'm just not really in the mood to care because I love George Karlaftis, and I think the NFL will have a resurgence on their love for him. I do. Again, with David Ojabo falling, it's no longer you're going to be taking the sixth edge off the board. Like he could go before Jermaine Johnson for sure. I could see him even going, well, before Zadarius Smith signed at number 12. So at number 17, you got the Chargers on the board, and offensive tackle definitely should be the priority here. And I think Trevor Penning would be an amazing option. You could see like a guy like Devin Lloyd coming in. It just hasn't been really great there in terms of the linebacker play. Devontae Wyatt, but they signed 2 D tackles in free agency. And I mean, I just think offensive tackle is the best thing you can do. Trevor Penning's getting all the hype in the world. Not a guy who I would personally go after in this mid-first range. But again, you're taking a shot on an offensive line. That's fine. Unless you want to wait for Abraham Lucas in round 2, which there's not much of a ceiling to him. I'm going to be going Trevor Penning here out of Northern Iowa. Let's check the board to see if anybody crazy is falling. And I don't think anybody out of the questions falling besides maybe Devontae Wyatt, which he might be gone very soon. So number 18, I think this one is obviously going to be a wide receiver pick for the Saints. Again, you don't even have Trevor Penning on the board. So I think going after someone like Jameson Williams would be the best thing you can do. Chris Olave is another really good option. It really is up to like what flavor of ice cream you like. Jahan Dotson would be a stud. Treylon Burks as well. So let's go Jameson Williams here out of Alabama. Number 19 for the Eagles. Again, we could trade back here, but I'm looking at the teams and I don't want Treylon Burks to fall to pick 22. That's again, you don't want that in your NFC. Oof. Getting tough to talk. After classes and stuff, it always is a little bit fun to do a mock draft, right? But I mean, you could try to have a team trade up for him. I do think that he still could be an Eagle. I really do. And I want Tyler Linderbaum to be an Eagle. I do. I think the guy's phenomenal. We haven't seen one in history go above 20, apparently. I didn't even know that fact. But Treylon Burks out of Arkansas is the guy who I'm going to select. People are saying that like that 4.55 is going to kill him. If you're not going to kill Kyle Hamilton for that, you need to watch Treylon Burks play and you'll believe that this guy could run in the 4.4s. Don't try to be hypocritical by saying Kyle Hamilton doesn't deserve the drop, even when he's a position of low value, when you're saying Treylon Burks isn't even worth a first round pick. The guy's an absolute stud. You get the ball in his hands. It's going to be a good way to keep your offense in rhythm. I'd be very happy with these 3 picks personally. Number 20 with the Steelers. We signed a lot of corners, so I don't really think corner is that much of a priority for the team. Like offensive line's not really either. I'm actually going to potentially go on the defensive side. So Brojmo talked to me about this. He's like, when's the last time the Steelers drafted a first-round wide receiver? He made a very good point. There's not really one. Devontae Wyatt's on the board. We're going to go Devontae Wyatt here. Again, just one of those freak talents. He talked to Mike Tomlin talked about how when he saw Jordan Davis, like, if he's on the board at 20, I'm running to the podium. Devontae Wyatt is just like right behind. He's only 0.25 points right behind Jordan Davis. Guys are really high-end interior defensive linemen in a very, very poor interior defensive line class. Like you have Devontae Wyatt and Jordan Davis, and then you have Travis Jones. Those are kind of like the top three. Then you could talk about, I know that a lot of people put Logan Hall in there. I need to do my official eval on him. He actually has some really good tape, but also some meh. So it's like kind of like a 50-50 right there. But then like Perrion Winfrey, I mean, I had his IQ down to 2 out of 10. I just really don't think that he just sells out and doesn't know where the hell the ball is. But regardless, we'll talk about that later. Pick 21, we got the ball. Wow, Jesus Christ. We have the Patriots on the board. And I think that going a linebacker would not be a bad option. What's up with Quay Walker getting the hype here? What the hell? Okay. Yeah, when you look at these guys, I think Devin Lloyd would be the perfect linebacker to add into this squad. You could go wide receiver again. I don't think that'd be a bad option at all. You could get Chris Olave and just say, hey, we're good. But you could get John Mechie round 2. You could get Jalen Tolbert, Wan'Dale Robinson, Alec Pierce. I think that is going to be really good value. Again, you could probably do the same with linebacker, I'll admit. But Devin Lloyd is a phenomenal talent. A lot of people love him. And when you have a guy that coaches are raving about his work ethic, best player I've ever coached, that seems like a Bill Belichick type of guy. Number 22, we got the Packers. And yeah, you already know this has to be a wide receiver. Jahan Dotson or Chris Olave does not matter. Does not matter at all. And I have Jahan above Chris Olave. And Jahan has played as a wide receiver 1 in a team that needs a wide receiver 1. I'm going to be going Jahan Dotson out of Penn State here. Chris Olave will get some hype, but remember, if you're going to talk about Chris Olave's speed, he was only 0.02 seconds in his 40 faster than Jahan Dotson. It's not that big of a difference. And I love Jahan Dotson with a passion. Number 23, we got the Cards on the board. Again, let's do a quick little check to make sure that nobody crazy is falling. And so far, no, you got Tyler Linderbaum here, which is a big faller. But, you know, you got Tyler Smith, Kenyon Green, Zion Johnson, who could be in this range. But honestly, nothing that's out of the question. And I do think that edge is a pretty big issue. The problem is nobody is here worth the pick besides maybe David Ojabo. And I swear if they go Boye Mafe, I will lose my mind. Corner, though, you have some pretty talented dudes here. I think Trent would be a funny option to bring back another Washington corner. His sub 6 foot frame makes me think he actually might be, unfortunately, forced inside. Doesn't mean he has to be, but you're going to be pretty much contending with Byron Murphy at that point. I'd rather go Tariq Woolen personally, and I think that wouldn't be a bad option. I do know Jeff Gladney came to this team, though, so they do have some dudes in that realm. Wide receiver as well. Chris Olave is a very underrated option here, guys, because, again, you just lost Christian Kirk. You pretty much have 2 primary weapons, and I think Andy Isabella requested a trade or something. And we're going to do it. Let's go Chris Olave here. Yeah, we're going crazy. We're going to go out of the box. I want to have some fun picks here, and I've never done that before. Chris Olave replacing Christian Kirk, and he's going to be a lot better version for a lot cheaper, but you can thank the Jaguars why that is the case. Number 24, you got the Cowboys, and I am going to be going Tyler Linderbaum here. Yeah, I just think that's the right move. I do. So we're going to go Tyler Linderbaum. Center is not really fully solidified. That guard and tackle spot also not so much, but we also have some really good guards in this class. Tyler Linderbaum is the best player on the board, hands down. He's a top 5 dude for me. Love him to death. Number 25, you got the Bills on the board, and Bills are looking for a corner too. And again, this is where you can take someone like Trent McDuffie. You have like Saron Neal and Teron Johnson in there. Like, this is where you can take a shot. Tariq Woolen definitely deserves some recognition, but I know that the NFL is high on Trent McDuffie. That's where he lands. Number 26 with the Titans. So I love the potential idea of Tyler Smith to the squad. I really do. And I think that's going to be the right move for the franchise. I'm trying to think if Saffold were a left guard, I would potentially go Kenyon Green. Because if he's right guard, Kenyon Green's like, if you look at the track record, Kenyon Green can't really play right guard. Zion Johnson would be a really fun one as well if you did not extend Ben Jones. I think Tyler Smith might be the guy who's the sneaky dude who sneaks up the boards here. We're going to go Tyler Smith over Zion Johnson, who, of course, will be probably the next pick. Again, both teams are in need of interior offensive linemen, but Tyler Smith can actually play tackle on a team that is looking for a developmental tackle. Number 28, you got the Packers back on the board. And again, let's look at some dudes here. Nakobe Dean's on the board, and you're still needing an edge rusher as well. I think that Nakobe Dean might be a little bit too good to pass on. I really do. You just brought back Campbell as well, Devondre, for I think what was that, like a 5-year 50, something like that. Pretty good deal, honestly, for both sides. You could look at offensive line here. You could get someone like Kenyon Green to be able to play offensive line, offensive tackle for the team. He played 2 games at right tackle and only allowed 1 pressure, but he's more suited for left tackle, in my opinion. And I think those testing numbers are a bit scary for teams who are trying to think of him as a potential tackle, because the guard realm, I had him as a 2nd round grade. And I'm going to stick to that. Edge rush, they could go after Boye Mafe. They go after very high RAS players very often, and Nakobe Dean could be slipping here. So it's a bit unfortunate. It is. But when you look at it, I don't think another wide receiver is going to solve the issue right now. Nakobe Dean could be the most fun option for the team. I'm actually going to go Boye Mafe here out of Minnesota. David Ojabo would make so much sense. But again, that Achilles tear, Boye Mafe will be able to play day 1. And he had a big offseason surge. Especially you got to see some extra development as well. Big plus for Boye Mafe, who gets to sneak in here to a team that historically really does like guys like him. Number 29, we got the Chiefs. So let's react to this Tyreek Hill thing. So for a 1st, a 2nd, and then a plethora of other later picks, I think that both sides won, to be honest. You know, the Dolphins get their high-end wide receiver. They paid him $30 million a year. And the Chiefs got to save $30 million a year and got to have 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks. That's a big plus. I will say, I think the biggest loser is Tyreek Hill. I don't know why he chose to go to Kansas City. I really don't. Not to Kansas City, to Miami. When you have Tua Tagovailoa as your quarterback, the ceiling is very limited. It is. And when you have someone like Zach Wilson, yeah, he might have been like the worst quarterback in the NFL last year. The dude has a cannon. You just open it up for him. The dude has an opportunity to really light it up. Don't get that one. I don't. But I know Miami was really looking forward to being able to get a good guy to stretch the field. I don't know if this means that doing a quarterback change will be the right move for the franchise, but it is the way it is, guys. And you know what? I think both teams prospered in their own minds. It just really depends on the Miami Dolphins side, what they're going to do with Tyreek Hill and what they're going to do at that quarterback position. I do think that was a phenomenal trade move for the Chiefs, who, yeah, they actually just probably knocked themselves out of Super Bowl favoritism. But at the same time, when you free up that much money, it allows you to make other moves as well. And they have all these picks. So I'm sure that they're able to maximize their potential here. But at number 29, you are going to replace your beloved wide receiver with Sky Moore. I love Sky Moore with a passion, man. And I think that he'd be a great addition to this team. A really dynamic receiver that just offers some crazy ceiling. Everybody comps him to Golden Tate, who was a very consistent, very solid wide receiver for a long time. Someone who Patrick Mahomes would really like as a good separator, 4.41 speed, if I'm not mistaken. I dig it. I really do. You could go after Calvin Austin round 2, which we're going to be getting to soon, but I mean, I just dig it. Number 30, you got the Chiefs back on the board again. Could see a trade back here, but they are not going to. They are actually going to take the swing on David Ojabo to come in and give reinforcements as their edge 2 later in the year. Yeah, we're changing it up, guys. We're going to be putting some good pressure in that division because, again, you need it. You really do. When you have Frank Clark as your only real pass rush threat besides Chris Jones, you need help. You need help. And David Ojabo falling to this point, I just can't see him falling legitimately out of round 1 because, again, I think there is a legitimate drop-off. Even though I do have guys like Arnold Ebiketie above him, I think David Ojabo's hype and his rawness would just be too damn good to pass on. Number 31 with the Bengals, I still think offensive line could be a target. You know, Alex Kappa got paid 4 years, $40 million. Still could be it. But at the same time, you just released Trey Waynes as well. Corner is a legit position of need. Whether it's Andrew Booth or Tariq Woolen, I don't really care. I'm going to go with Tyreek because I also think he's not really replacing somebody who was a good impact anyways. And Tyreek is 6'4", 4.26 speed, can keep up with Jamar Chase, and he also has the size to be, and he has the ball skills too. Former wide receiver. He's only been playing corner for 2 years. I just think I love that potential right there. Only other dude who I could really want to be putting in that first round. Number 32 with the Detroit Lions. Safety was taken the first. Edge, we could definitely take one here. Don't really think is that much of a need right now. I still think that linebacker will be the right move with Nakobe Dean. Ending off the first round, let's kick right into round 2 because I spent a lot of time on this, but I want to make sure you guys had some good analysis because that's what this is all about. Number 33 with the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is not going to be interior defensive line because my dumbass forgot about all the moves, including Foley Fatukasi, who got brought in. That's on me. I still think Bernard Ryman could be brought in. And I know that there's 3 tackles. You got Jawan Taylor as well as Walker Little and now Cam Robinson. That would not be a bad move, in my opinion. But wide receiver 1 is still vacant. And George Pickens is on the board. He is a true X wide receiver. He has 4.47 speed. That's damn good. Pretty damn solid. And again, he's one hell of a fighter. He came back from an ACL tear. You could tell he wasn't fully healthy. And he's just an absolute boss, really strong at the catch point as well. And there's just a straight highlight reel of this dude throwing guys all over the place. Get a true X wide receiver. Get your Alshon Jeffrey, so to speak, for Trevor Lawrence. I like it. Number 34 with the Lions. I still think edge rush should be a position to target. And wide receiver should be too. I just don't think anybody's worth it at this point, except Alec Pierce, but we're not going to be getting to that. We got to make it a little bit realistic. Arnold Ebiketie on the board. I think the guy's going to be a day 1 stud in this league. So we're going to go Arnold Ebiketie. Yeah. I know it's a crazy move, but I do think that guy is phenomenal. One hell of a motor that he has. I just love him so much. He's a first round grade for sure. Big fan of Arnold Ebiketie. Not going to be a real big factor in the run game, but at the same time, I think you'll be okay. Number 35 with the Jets. I mean, I still think safety could be a position to target. You know, you still have Lewis Cine on the board, Dax Hill. I think those guys are all positions of need. Of course, for the Lions, they could have went that as well. Decided not to because I also think that we could trade up later and be able to get someone like Jalen Petrie, Jaquan Brisker. But at this point, I am looking at Lewis Cine, but we've gone defense twice in a row. I think offense would not be a bad idea. Wide receiver is just not worth it at this point. It could be at the next spot, but it's not worth it right now. I think linebacker is the position to go. And we are actually going to be going after a very interesting one, Leo Chanel out of Wisconsin. I'm pretty sure you guys just traded the linebacker from I think it was a linebacker from Minnesota, Blake Cashman. I think he got traded. So I'm forgetting for who, but Leo Chanel is an absolute baller. I think he could definitely be a first round talent. Definitely somebody you could be adding to your repertoire. Number 36 with the New York Giants. Safety is definitely still a need for this team, as is linebacker. I think that linebacker might be more of a move, but we're going to be going safety here with Lewis Cine out of Georgia. Just got rid of Logan Ryan, so that kind of dwindles it down to Xavier McKinney as a true safety there. And then you have Julian Love, but again, you guys don't really need that. Lewis Cine's going to be an absolute baller with Wink Martindale. Big fan of what this team could actually bring to the table. Number 37 with the Texans. We have a lot of quarterbacks on the board, by the way, guys, including Sam Howell, which this team could be intrigued with. But we are actually potentially going to see a trade here because I don't really think the edges are really worth it. I don't. And that trade actually is going to be with the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are going to make a move here. Yeah. And finally, there's probably not going to, I swear, I'm going to jinx myself again. Every time I make a mock, there's a trade that happens during my mock, and it just drives me nuts. But we're going to be offering a next year 4th round pick to be able to move up 3 spots. I think that's perfectly fair. I'm actually going to check my phone right now to see, and they're just talking about more about the Miami deal. The Giants are doing some cool stuff. Awesome, man. Love it. Yeah. Okay. Nothing new. So had to make sure about that one because we could at least pivot a little bit. And we're going to be selecting Sam Howell out of North Carolina. Do you get the 5th-year contract? No. But at the same time, you still get a high upside quarterback at that pick. But the Jets are sitting here. I think that wide receiver has to be this pick. And When you look at it, Christian Watson could actually be a really fun guy to bring onto the squad. Guy who's a true deep threat, could really challenge the ball downfield. Interior defensive line definitely could be of a position of need. You lost fully Fatukasi, so Perion Winfrey, Travis Jones could definitely be in that realm. But we've actually went defense 3 times. So let's go offense. And Bernard Reitman could be a guy you could develop. I'm starting to think about that. I know wide receiver is a position of need, but man, I can't do it. I can't. We're going to go Bernard Reitman here out of Central Michigan. Really weird one. I want to take an out-of-the-box approach here, but he could definitely sit for a year at right tackle. That's somebody with a high ceiling that you can sit for a year behind Fant. Not going to piss off the fan base. You're going to be able to bring him in. Number 39 with the Bears. I think that edge or interior offensive line are the big positions of need. And we're going to be going Kenyon Green here at Texas A&M. That's a big steal, but honestly, like with his athletic profile, it might not be that big of a steal. Number 40 for the Texans. I think that edge still should be a position to target. And I mean, based on all the guys here, I'm actually not very enticed to take one at all. As a matter of fact, I'm not very happy with this position. I would be more considering taking another trade back offer for a quarterback than anything. And you also have guys like Dax Hill on the board, Perion Winfrey, Travis Jones, who are absolute ballers as well. You could actually go with Perion Winfrey here. I don't think that's the right move. I think trading back again wouldn't be a bad option because guess what? Every trade back takes away a potential future quarterback from the Colts too. I'll just say that. And you could say that the Falcons need to get even more help before drafting a quarterback. But at the same time, this is just such a small room. I mean, it's just such it's low value, high reward. I might have the Saints trade up here because offensive tackle is no longer on the board. That is pretty viable, except for Nicholas Ferrer. And they could go after a quarterback for sure. Pittsburgh as well. I think that I'd rather trade to the NFC if I am going to be the Texans here. So basically, you have Des Ridder, Matt Corral, and Kenny Pickett on the board. I think that you could try to say they're going to invest in Jabu. It's a 2-year deal. It's not really much of an investment. And it's a 2nd-round pick. We're going to be making a blockbuster trade. Actually, negative. We're going to be doing that. And we're going to be having the Saints moving up here. Yeah, it's a little bit of a wacky trade. We're going to be offering a third. We're actually going to be offering a third next year to be able to move up 9 spots. So we're collecting picks now. Holy shit. How many picks do y'all have? I forgot about the Deshaun Watson trade. You know what? Screw it. We'll do that. We'll do that. What on earth? Well, I just did not expect that. Texans accepted the offer, and the Saints are actually going to be considering Des Ridder as their potential future. With his arm strength, he might be certainly one of the top guys in the class. Number 41, back with the Seahawks. We did not go corner, and that's a position of need. And you still have Andrew Booth here. Kyler Gordon's certainly an option, but Andrew Booth has a lot of hype to him. We're going to go Andrew Booth Jr. Number 42, we need to get some help in this wide receiver room for the Colts. We need a true number 2. And Calvin Austin would be a really fun option for this team. You're losing T.Y. Hilton to retirement. You could also go tight end, but I know Mo Alley-Cox just got brought back as well. I think this team could definitely prosper off of Calvin Austin. 4'3", 240, ridiculous athlete overall. He was like number 1 in all the categories. Again, Christian Watson will be getting the hype. I just don't think that's the right move. Alec Pierce could be brought in. I really do love Alec Pierce, but Calvin Austin is going to be the guy getting a shit ton of hype, so we're going to be drafting him here. Number 43 for the Falcons. I think that you could also go another wide receiver here, but at the same time, quarterback, when you get Matt Corral, that would not be a bad decision at all. Kenny Pickett, you could bring him in as well. I mean, again, people are talking about Kenny Pickett. I just don't think he goes that high. I think it's going to be the same thing as Drew Lock. Matt Corral at least has a much stronger arm. We're going to see him today at his pro day. So we'll see how that goes. But again, honestly, we could go Kenny Pickett. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. Kenny Pickett has a lower ceiling, but man, he could actually take this franchise and do something with it. And honestly, that's better than what you can ask for with your quarterback right now. Number 44 with the Browns. Interior defensive line still in need. We're going Travis Jones out of UConn. I like that move. Number 45 for the Ravens. I would love to have gone to center for this team. But I think that they're going to be kicking Patrick McCarry into center. So it's not exactly as big of a need as I say it is. We are going to be going Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati. Yeah, big wide receiver for this team. Do you need it? No, but I feel like you're going to continue trying to build around Lamar. That's going to be a big plus for the team. 46. We still have some bomb-ass safeties on the board, by the way, guys. We still have some top dudes. We could definitely look at Dax Hill being an option here, but I think Jaquan Brisker fits a lot better. Dax Hill is a potential slot safety, which he could probably be, and he probably will be this next pick. A team that could definitely use somebody who could be of that caliber. So we're going to be selecting Dax Hill here to play single high safety, but you could also play in the slot depending on where you want to put Cam Curl. Just chill. I already know about that situation. Number 48 with the Bears. We traded back here, and we are still going to be able to nab a wide receiver. Christian Watson's going to be a fun deep threat for a quarterback with a cannon arm. That is the way to roll. Number 49 with the Texans. We've already traded back twice. We're not going to do it again, however much I want to do that. Matt Corral is still on the board. I think that would be a phenomenal option for the team to bring in for Davis Mills to have some competition. But we are now going to be going after an edge rusher. Kingsley Enagbare would be a phenomenal guy to add to the mix. Chiefs sitting here at 50. I think that honestly, Kyler Gordon wouldn't be a bad option to take a swing on. But one of these picks has to be used to trade back, right? It has to be. That being said, they also didn't do that. So when they had 2 second-round picks, they took those 2 seconds. Oh, man. I mean, Perrion Winfrey's still on the board, and Matt Corral is, and Kyler Gordon is, and Jalen Petrie. We're going to have a team trade up here. I'm so sorry, Eagles fans. We're going to do this again, but this time is going to be with the Lions trading up with the Chiefs. Does this exactly make sense? No. I said no, but it's okay. It doesn't exactly make sense. But at the same time, I'm making sure that the Dolphins pick has been traded as well. And it has. Okay, good. I think this is the Dolphins pick. But at the same time, we're actually going to be saying 2/3 in here for the pick 50. I think that you're willing to take a shot on this. I know we already went Kyle Hamilton here. Man, that actually pisses me off. I did not mean to do that. Regardless, actually, we're going to be taking Matt Corral here. I was talking about Jalen Petrie, and I totally forgot about how we took a safety at first. We're going to be going Matt Corral here. I do think that his upside is totally worth a 3rd-round pick next year. So screw it. We're flipping it on the fly. I totally slipped up, but we made the most of it. Matt Corral at 50, taking him from the Steelers and not from the Eagles. It's probably the best move you can do. 51, this is going to be Jalen Petrie. Yeah, I think that if you don't get Honey Badge, it's the way to roll. Steelers, I think that going corner still could be on the table. Kyler Gordon would be a phenomenal option. Wide receiver as well. But unless I can't see any of these dudes being a Steeler except maybe Jalen Tolbert. But even then, I'm not very happy with it. I am going to be going after Kyler Gordon out of Washington here. Yeah, going 2 defensive picks after going offense heavy in free agency, probably the right move. Number 53 with the Green Bay Packers. This should be an offensive lineman. And I think Nicholas Petit-Ferrer could be a really good option for this team. I do. But Perrion Winfrey is also on the board. Let's get some help on the interior there. Perrion Winfrey to add some extra pass rush. Number 54 with the New England Patriots. I think this would be a good option for Wan'Dale Robinson or John Mechie to add some good weapons there. Corner is still a big liability. Roger McCreary honestly should be the right pick. I hate not doing wide receiver there, but you have to maximize your potential there, and Roger McCreary fits like a glove into the scheme. Number 55, you got the Cards on the board, and edge is going to be the position I target here all day long, all day, all night. Nick Bonito is a freak athlete. Same thing with Drake Jackson. I'm going to go in Nick Bonito here. He was running, I think, in the 4.5s. Dude is an absolute monster. Number 56 for the Cowboys. I think this could have also been a safety if we saw Jalen Petrie here, but it's not. Wide receivers still could be on the board. I would not totally rule that out. And might want to go with it with Wan'Dale Robinson here, but at the same time, I mean, you did also lose out on Cedric Wilson. This wouldn't be a bad option. Someone who could also take a lot of screenplays and make big plays out of them. We're actually going to go with it. I know you guys might not like that pick, but Wan'Dale is an absolute freak in space, and that's someone who I would probably want on my squad. Number 57 with the Bills. We no longer have first round quality. Wow, having trouble here. First round quality quarterbacks on the board. Probably never did in the first place. But Jameson Crowder just got signed to this team. Running back still is in the mix. You talked about going after. I know Breece Hall actually might have been in a mock draft I saw online. I'm gonna be going with it, but you guys tried to bring on J.D. McKissick. He went back. Obviously, there's like one piece left that you need. Breece Hall might be that piece. Number 58, back with the Falcons. Linebacker could be this move. Christian Harris is on the board. Brian Asamoah, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna go Christian Harris here out of Alabama. He falls because he's also pretty raw. He could go up as high as the top of the first, but I have him falling here to the late second. Number 59 with the Green Bay Packers back again on the board. Again, you could go linebacker with Brian Asamoah, who's an absolute stud. I love Brian Asamoah. But we're actually going to go offensive line here, and we're going to take a shot on Nicholas Petit-Ferrer, offensive tackle out of the Ohio State University. He's graded out as one of my only round 2 tackles, can play left or right tackle. If he's trained properly, David Bakhtiari, he has top 10 potential in the class. Not top 10 lineman, top 10 player. I saw some reps in there. It's like, that is elite tackle play. I think he can do that again. So as long as you get rid of the Penn State and maybe Rutgers as well as Michigan game, you see a guy who's worth a top 10 pick. You can't ignore it. That's why he falls here. Number 60 with the Buccaneers. We just signed a running back with Leonard Fournette, so we don't really need to do that. Also signed a corner, but that doesn't stop me from going after another one. And you also have the Niners next, so you know they're going to want to go corner. We're going to go Martin Emerson here out of Mississippi State, kind of giving the middle birds or the double birds to the 49ers, who are stuck in a weird situation because I think offensive line would not be a bad move at all. Again, you just lost Laken Tomlinson. I don't really have much faith in Aaron Banks. He played 5 snaps last year. That's not good. So could certainly be on the table, and I think that wouldn't be a bad idea at all. I'm going to go Sean Ryan here out of UCLA. Can also move to tackle if you want to ever get rid of Mike McGlinchey. And again, it's a really good spot for him to learn right next to oh, come on. I know that I literally see his name and it's just bugging me. The all pro left tackle. I'm just bugging. Trent Williams. There we go. Yeah, Trent Williams would be great as a mentor to Sean Ryan. Number 62, back with the Chiefs again. Oh, it never stops. I think this pick could be used in the secondary, but slot safety could still be filled. I know you guys got Reed there, but Marcus Jones is a baller. I love him to death. We're going to be taking him for this team. Number 63, we got the Bengals on the board. Again, I keep sticking to this. Trey McBride out of Colorado State. The tight ends just will probably fall to the mid-second, because I just don't really think many people are going to be very high on them. It's a pretty poor class overall. Number 64, ending off the draft, we have the Denver Broncos. And linebacker probably should be the move here. Chad Muma could be a true Mike for this team. Brian Asamoah could be a fun one, but we're going to be going Chad Muma to bolster that linebacking core. And that is going to be how we end off the draft. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.